Hello, sixth graders. Today I'm going to be explaining the assignment on Google Classroom entitled Saving American Wolves. You can see that you already have directions. Our first directions is to click on the video. So good job. You've obviously clicked on the video. After that, you're going to open up our Google Slides and we're going to actually go through the Google Slides together. This is the link to the story. And then finally, here's your assignment that you're going to complete at the end. Let's get started. Here's our PowerPoint. And if you'll notice here, this blue link means that I can go right to the story from here. I'm not going to do that yet, though. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is because I know that there's some words I need to learn and I want to understand what the objectives are. So now that I'm on my PowerPoint, I'm going to go over some standards with you. Our first standard is to cite textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. Then we're going to determine a central idea of the text and how it is conveyed through practical details, provide a summary of the text, distinct from personal opinion or judgments. Next, we're going to determine an author's point of view or purpose in a text and explain how it relates to the text. Then finally, our writing standard is to develop the topic with relative facts, definitions, concrete details, quotables, information, and examples. Our essential questions that we're going to be going over today are: what responsibility do humans have to protect wild animals? What is the relationship between humans and the natural world? How do ecosystems stay in balance? So as I read the text, I'm going to be thinking about those three questions. In fact, I might even want to take a piece of paper, write it down, so that as I'm reading the text, I can think about those three questions. Our content objective is to analyze the informational article, Saving American Wolves, and be able to write about the tone an author uses to express ideas. But what is tone? The tone is an author's attitude towards the subject matter or towards the reader or audience. Words that could describe tone include doubtful, humorous, sarcastic, serious, and outraged. Tone is conveyed through the author's word choices and the details that he or she includes. A text may have more than one tone. So keep in mind that a work of fiction tone is not necessarily the attitude of the narrator, but rather the author. So a question that I might ask is, how does the author feel about who she or she is talking about? So here's some words. If I wanted to convey positive tone, I might use words like happy, hopeful, humorous. If my message is neutral, it might be ambiguous, ambivalent, casual, or possibly even negative would be angry, annoyed, biting, or bitter. So here's some vocabulary words. I want to point out that you can also go to Scope online and listen to the words and definitions read aloud. However, I'm going to also do that for you right now. Apex predator. An apex is the top or highest point of something. The apex of a mountain is its peak. A predator is an animal that kills and eats other animals. I want you to think about as you're reading this text, and I want you to ask yourself, who is the apex predator in my reading? Some examples are sharks, grizzly bears, to name a few. Our next word is despise. Despise means to strongly dislike and disapprove of something or someone. Imagine you ask Ray if he wants olives on his pizza. He says, ugh, that maybe even the sight of them disgust him. You can conclude that Ray despises olives. Next word, ecosystem. Ecosystem is a system of all the living and non-living things in a particular environment, and you're going to be learning about an ecosystem. Our next word is endangered, and I want you to ask yourself, who in the story is endangered? Endangered means at risk of dying out. So endangered is most often used to describe a species of plant or animal that is in a serious risk of becoming extinct. The next word is hierarchy. A hierarchy is a system in which people or things are ranked according to their status, power, or importance. So if Karen said something like, I was a cadet, but now I became a general, she moved up in the Army's hierarchy. Keystone species. In a curved stone arc, the stone at the very center of the top is called the keystone. The keystone is the most important stone in the arch because If you take it away, the whole arch will become weak and might fall down. As you read the story, I want you to think about what is the keystone species that they're referring to. Our next word, stalk. To stalk is to slowly and quietly possibly follow a person or animal that you're hurting or trying to catch. Tranquilizer. This does come up in the story, so which animal is tranquilized might be a good question, but what is a tranquilizer? You might not know what that means. It's an adjective and it means peaceful, quiet, and calm, but it also can be something maybe like a medicine that causes something to feel that way. So to make or become tranquil would probably be a closer definition of what you're going to be reading in the story. So here's our steps. You're going to read the Scholastic Scope article, Saving America's Wolves. You can click on the link whenever you're ready. Then you're going to analyze what the author, Kristen Lewis's tone is in Saving American Wolves, and then you're going to open up the writable PDF. Don't forget to turn it in. We hope that you have a fantastic week, and we miss you. Also, just for another thing to kind of keep you going, a paired novel. If you like reading about wolves, try reading one of these awesome novels. Julie of the Wolves by Craig Head George. The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Notice it's in the Amplify Library. The Jungle Book, Amplify Library. And Wolf Journal by Brian Conley. That is all for our PowerPoint. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to click out of this. Again, you can click on this link when you're finished with listening to the story or reading the story or both. Then you're going to fill out the PDF and you're going to hand it in. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we want you to know we miss you very much.